All right, so let's get back to the FBI. So, Senator Chuck Grassley, he's been there since the Civil War, Nebraska guy, Iowa guy. I'm sorry, we get that wrong. I don't know why. So Grassley has been in Senate a long time, Iowa, and he is concerned about the FBI not investigating Hunter and Joe Biden. So he writes 8 days ago a letter to President Biden. Here is a portion of the letter, quote, "Based on the information provided in my office over a period of years by multiple credible whistleblowers, there appears to be an effort within the Justice Department and FBI to shut down investigative activity relating to the Biden family. Such decisions point to significant political bias infecting the decision-making of not only the Attorney General and the FBI Director, but also line agents and prosecutors. A Republican cannot survive such a political infection, and you have an obligation to this country to clear the air." That's to President Biden. Okay? Of course, Biden did not reply to it because Biden is not clearing anything, because if he does, he could be in very serious trouble, which he will be anyway. Eventually, they're going to get to this. You know that. Anyway, I read you that because I wanted to talk with one of our top guests, Brett Tolman, former prosecutor, a federal prosecutor, about the FBI. So let's do away with all, bring him on in, John. Let's do away with all the FBI agents aren't at fault, because we all know that, all right? And we don't have to say that. It's been said way too many times. You watch Christopher Wray, all right? And you worked in that Justice Department. Is this a guy that inspires confidence to you?
Bill, thanks for having me on. Not only did I work in the Department of Justice, I was in the Department of Justice the same time as Chris Wray and worked with him on several different DOJ committees. And I'll tell you, you summarized what I think the American people really need to know about Chris Wray. And that is, he will not be a man of courage. And right now, this country in the Department of Justice needs men and women of courage that are willing to say, we will investigate. We don't care about your politics. We're not going to try to cover for anyone. The same guy that would authorize these ridiculous investigations into Donald Trump when it should be a civil matter that's handling some of the disputes, is refusing to pursue what is clear racketeering behavior, money laundering, bribe, movement of money to avoid detection. We now know the sourcing investigation was done. They actually connected the dots. Now we know they had to do quite a bit to avoid holding the Biden family accountable.
So they got the information from various people, and then they, what they call, dumped it. They wouldn't pursue it. They said it was Russian disinformation, whatever excuse, they wouldn't aggressively do it. Now, what I don't understand is this. Comey was a disaster, right? The former FBI chief. He was a disaster, and all his lieutenants were ridiculous. Very partisan Democratic people. And then Trump comes in and he appoints Wray. Now, I don't know, maybe Wray was Elliot Ness at one time, and then all of a sudden he lost it. I don't know. But Trump appointed Wray, right?
Well, that's right. The Trump ignorance on Wray and on who he could trust or who he should listen to really is turning into be, maybe his largest mistake as a president. It was apparent way back then that Chris Wray was not the candidate that was going to exercise, independence and courage and be a force in that.
How was that apparent? Let me stop you. Let's get specific. How was that apparent? Because I didn't know. When Trump said, I'm going to give the job to Chris Wray, I wasn't here going, what? I didn't know. How was it apparent to you?
It was apparent to me, having worked. There are a certain cross section of individuals that are born and bred in Washington, D.C. They are angling for appointment positions. When an administration comes in that's not their party, they stay in D.C., they wait it out, then they push for a position back when the new administration comes. It's this revolving door. It's happening all the time. You wouldn't know that if you're Donald Trump and you're jumping into Washington, D.C. He really would have had to have listened to some folks that said, hey, let's bring in an outsider that has law enforcement credentials, has worked it, with the FBI, or has the chops to come in here that you actually might have some confidence in. I wouldn't put someone in that position that I didn't know.